JF Stretford, Paddock, this is the Paper Talk. You know the drill by now. We're in the studio, we're live, so you know what to do. Get involved in the comments and the chat and give us a like. We're going to be talking about new arrivals at Manchester United because, yes, there has been a bit of a transfer frenzy, shall we say, over the last few days. A couple of new arrivals. We'll get into that. We're also getting to whether there's going to be more signings and also could someone be heading out of the exit door. So let us know your thoughts on any of those stories, all of them, or if you know anything. If you've got a bit of a ITK knowledge, you know what I mean? If you've seen, I don't know, certain players down the local Sainsbury's, get involved in the chat. Right, let's get into it. First of all, let's start with Antony. Antony. You've probably seen it last night. There was these sort of clips, or not clips, sorry, stills doing the rounds on social media of him arriving at Carrington for his medical. It looked like it'd been taken off the CCTV, so someone's probably getting sacked in the morning. But everyone was reporting that, you know, he's here for his medical. I think Romano had tweeted it. Everyone else had tweeted it. We know that this deal is pretty much done. It's just a case now of when he's going to be announced. There were reports that he could feature for the squad against Leicester. Obviously, United play Leicester on Thursday. And there was some reports saying that actually, you know what, he could be ready for that one. He could be in the squad for the Leicester game. Whether he features or not remains to be seen. But yeah, if that sort of medical goes all well, as we expect it to, there shouldn't be any dramas. Then, yep, he could be in that squad. I think Patrick Berger, who's been on this channel, was tweeting about that as well, or mentioning that in one of his articles. So yeah, Antony pretty much done. Another signing that's pretty much done as well is Martin Dubravka. This is the goalkeeper, obviously, from Newcastle. Antony was like 84 million quid, I think. Dubravka, the other end of the scale, 5 million quid. Expected to come in as a backup to David De Gea. Possibly he will get a chance, though. Who knows? Stranger things have happened. And we were hearing even a few weeks ago from Laurie Whitwell in The Athletic. He was saying that what United had done and what Erik ten Hag had done is they wanted a keeper that could come in and be number 2 to David De Gea, but also challenge him for that number 1 spot. So maybe Dubravka does fit that bill as well. You know, he's obviously at Newcastle. They brought in Nick Pope, so he's surplus to first team requirements anyway, so he's making the move to Manchester United. Again, pretty much a done deal there. We're just waiting for official confirmation. Antony and Dubravka, don't see any dramas there. You know, almost sort of done, basically. Let's have a look at what people are saying in the chat. Santa Notch, always good to see him in the chat, says the usual end of window circus. Bree Joel says PSV just turned down 21 million for Gakpo. If we are wanting him as well, not sure we need. Better get on it. Yeah, there were reports that the Gakpo deal wasn't going to happen because Antony happened. It would be a bit of a surprise if both happened, but you never know. Sorry, Rebecca Jade O'Sullivan. Jay was late as you on Twitter, guys. So someone's saying, well, you'd be a bit late. Sorry, that was a minute late. That's not bad for me, that. It's usually some doom, yeah. Jamie White says, morning, Jay. Scottu says, morning, Jay, lad. Priya 3 and Doe, or 0, says, if we get Osimhen and let Ronaldo leave, we'll be much better overall team for it. Love Ronnie, but as certain fan channel used to say, it's time to go. That was Claude on it on Arsenal Fan TV. Jamie White with a question says, what would you rate this window out of 10, Jay? That's a good question, that. It's not been too bad. I like the signing of Casemiro and Antony, obviously, big signings. Martinez has worked out really well. And Malacia has been a bit of a gem. Also, Eriksen. I think all the signings we've made so far have you know, been positive ones you see, okay, you see what they're trying to do. But I just love signings, man. I think we need loads of them. So I'm not going to give it a very high rating. I'll give it a 6. Let us know what you think, more important. What do you think of this transfer window? How do you rate it? Last week, I'd probably give it a 1 or a 2. I was fuming last week when we I thought we would only buy in just Martinez, Eriksen and Malacia, because I like those players, but for Manchester United to only be spending about 70 million quid when we just finished 6 was criminal. Now, of course, we've gone a bit more turbo. Loads of people saying, on the transfer rating here, we've got a few. Shabad Shraber Shabu says 5. Maloa Malaswa says 7 out of 10. Aya Hermansen says, Hermansen says 7.5. Matthew Bryson gives it an 8. 8 out of 10. Hit that like button and let us know what you think about the transfers that we have done. Who's next on my list? I've forgotten already. Wan-Bissaka, thank you. There you go. Yes, talking about goings, we know we've got Antony, we know we've got Dubravka. One player who may be going or may not, which isn't a very good sort of clear story, is Aaron Wan-Bissaka, and I'll explain the sort of what I'm on about there because you're like, well, that doesn't make any sense. So, David Ornstein, who is he number 1 now on the tier list? The transfer tier list, the journalist tier list. Has he overtaken Romano? Is Romano still top dog? There's a bit of a debate going on there. Let us know what you think. He did an article yesterday saying that United rebuff, love a good rebuffing, West Ham and Crystal Palace approaches for Aaron Wan-Bissaka. I mean, that would have been quite ironic, wouldn't it? If Crystal Palace come in for Aaron Wan-Bissaka, probably got him a lot cheaper than what we sold him for. It just feels like, it was like Paul Pogba all over again, isn't it? You buy him from someone and sell him back to him for a lot cheaper, or in Pogba's case, let him go. Manchester United have received approaches from Crystal Palace and West Ham United about the possibility of signing Aaron Wan-Bissaka. The Athletic understands it is believed that both advances even were turned down, as the Old Trafford club do not intend to sell a lone 24-year-old right-back before Thursday's deadline. Right, so you think, okay, then that's pretty much the end of that then. Do you know what I mean? If he's not being loaned out or he's not being sold, he's probably not going anywhere. However, conflicting reports, or it's not quite conflicting because this is slightly different. As you can see from the graphic there, we're pointing over there for, where is it? There you go. There you go. Hang on, there it is. It says in the Express, Manchester United are, according to reports, in talks with Barcelona over a swap deal that would see Sergiño Dest move to Old Trafford and Aaron Wan-Bissaka head in the opposite direction. The club want a new right-back before the transfer window slams shut on Thursday, with Erik ten Hag eager for his squad to be bolstered. Some fantastic words there. So on the one hand, he's not going to Palace, or was it West Ham, the other club, but other reports saying he could be part of a swap deal with Barcelona for Dest. We'll see what happens with that one. I mean, I'm slightly sceptical that will happen. I mean, we're not getting anywhere with Barcelona, are we, this transfer window? We'll be suddenly going to start swapping right-backs. I'd be surprised if that one happened, but we'll have to wait and see. There was talk, weren't there, of us going in for Thomas Meunier as well a few days ago. That seems to have cooled down. Let us know what you think about that. Do you think Aaron Wan-Bissaka should go? Doesn't seem to be many people I've noticed on social media who are that keen on him now. He's sort of like the sort of Dalot Wan-Bissaka debate seems to have ended. And it's strange, isn't it? Because the first couple of games of the season, Dalot didn't have a very good spell of it. I don't think anyone did, to be fair, or not many players did for United, but he particularly sort of did seem to struggle. But his last two games, in my humble opinion, have been two of his best, if not his best games for Manchester United. So he seems to have cemented his place, especially after a good pre-season as well. Wan-Bissaka, who did come on for a bit of a cameo against Southampton, I think. Was it Southampton he came on late in the day? Oh, not Southampton. Was it Liverpool? He came on, didn't he? He's been used this season anyway, but obviously he's not started, so he's not like he's a regular. It looks like maybe there could be a bit of movement there, but if there is going to be movement, United would want another right back because we don't just want to rely on Dalot, and obviously I think Laird's gone out on loan again, hasn't he? It would leave us a little bit short. Ozzy Gamola, who's been a member of the academy for 3 months, says still believe Frankie de Jong is a deadline day signing. He's not giving up on Frankie de Jong. Who knows? We will be here on deadline day, by the way. We've got the Leicester game, and then we'll be live after that as well. If there is any sort of last minute, last gasp movements with Frankie de Jong or anyone else, we will be giving you updates on that. So make sure you're subscribing to the channel. We'll put a link in the chat to subscribe. Hit that link, subscribe to the channel. We want to get to 700,000 subscribers by, I don't know, what should we say? By Christmas. Should we aim for Christmas? Let's do it. With your support, we can do it. Brian Casey says, will you be getting Jim White in the studio for deadline day? Yeah, Macca loves Jim White, doesn't he? Can you imagine that? Macca's going to be here. So can you imagine Macca and Jim White in the same studio? No, obviously we're not. There's a subscribe link in the chat there, so do get involved. Right, should we talk about Victor Osimhen? Because this is one where it looked at one point like there might be something happening, then it looked like there wasn't, then it looked like there could be again, and now there's reports that maybe there could be something happening. Now, for those who aren't sure where all these sort of rumours started, there was a few sort of rumours a couple of months ago that United could be in for the Nigerian international. He's a striker, obviously. He's at Napoli. Scores quite a lot of goals. I'm going to go through his stats here. Scored 2 goals already this season, 14 goals in Serie A last season, 18 in all competitions, 10 the season before. So decent numbers, yeah. And also he's young, and he's 23. So you think there's room for manoeuvre in terms of him progressing and kicking on a little bit. Anyway, when we were linked with all those different strikers, like Nkunku and Osimhen and even Tony and all sorts, it was like every striker almost who might be available was linked with Manchester United. Osimhen's name came up. Now, the issue with it was the price tag, because I think Napoli paid quite a lot of money for him. I think he was the most expensive African transfer ever. The African player, sorry, to transfer ever. I think it's around 70 million euros, rising to 80 million euros. So you're not going to get him for less than that. You're going to have to pay more than that because since he's gone to Napoli, he's done well. It's not like he's flopped and you go, okay, you can get him in a cut price. So that kind of looked like, all right, that's maybe not happening. Then there was this talk when Ronaldo wanted to leave that Napoli would be interested in him and there could be some form of swap deal. Now, the sort of the twist there is now, you know, at the time it looked like Napoli, no chance of getting Cristiano Ronaldo. He's going to have better suitors, no disrespect to Napoli, but suitors that are probably bigger clubs and maybe with a better chance of doing some damage in the Champions League. But now, you know, we're sort of 3 days away or 2 days away from the transfer window closing and no one's coming in for Ronnie, are they? And it's like, okay, is there something going to happen there then? Is it you know, is he going to go back? Is it Napoli going to come back in for him? And could there be a case where he ends up going there? Now, a report this morning, I think this is in the Express, says that Man United's Osimhen plan, with or without Cristiano Ronaldo, emerges as strikers on a list. And it says there, Napoli striker Victor Osimhen is reportedly a leading transfer target for Manchester United amid rife speculation surrounding Ronaldo's potential summer exit. It goes on to say United need a new striker in the next 12 months and could make a stunning 11th hour move for one of Europe's most exciting in the position. Now, the trouble with United have got at a minute is, I think it was after the Southampton game, Erik ten Hag spoke about our striking options, and he sort of, it might have been after the Southampton game, said we've got options, we've got Martial, you've got Rashford can play down the middle, and you've got Cristiano Ronaldo. Now, whilst, I like all those players for different reasons, they're all flawed. They've all got question marks surrounding them. Marcus Rashford down the middle is a question mark for me. He seems to have had, he has had his best seasons in terms of goals and assists on the left-hand side of an attack. He has played down the middle. Has he been as productive down the middle? No, he hasn't. And some of his performances last season down the middle were pretty awful. Now, he's still an option. I'm not saying he isn't. And you'd like to think he can play down there and maybe he could do a job there. But it's not ideal to have to have Marcus Rashford as your main sort of striker, your out-and-out striker. I think that is a little bit flawed. Your other option is Antony Martial. Now, Antony Martial so far this season, he got injured in pre-season. He had a good pre-season. Then he gets injured in the Atletico Madrid game over in Oslo. So then he's out. He comes back, and then he picks up an Achilles injury, which is different from the injury, I think, that kept him out early in the season against Liverpool. So he missed the Southampton game. So he's already missed a few games this season. We're only, 4 games in or whatever it is, and he's missed 3.5 of them. All right, 3 of them, sorry, because I think half he was sub, but maybe he was a sub because of the injury. So can you rely on him? And also, this is a kid, and I like Antony Martial, but he's got, 1 Premier League goal last season, went on loan to Sevilla, didn't do anything. I think he didn't get any La Liga goals. I think he got 1 in Europa League. The season before that, he scored 4 Premier League goals. So there's still question marks. That's the point. I'm not saying he can't do it. I'm saying there's question marks about Marcus and there's question marks about Antony Martial. Now, the other option is Cristiano Ronaldo, who is 37 years old, wants to leave. So there's issues there. Like, can you rely on him? Does he want to be here? No. Is he going to be here? Who knows? And he's 37, so can he play week in, week out? Probably not. So all 3 of your options that you're talking about there that Erik ten Hag has sort of said, well, we're not short of options. We've got attacking options. They're not great, are they, in terms of, how much you can rely on them? Yes, Ronaldo could stay and he could end up banging in another 18 goals or whatever in the Premier League. Yes, Marcus Rashford could play down the middle and have a 20-goal-plus season. Antony Martial, who has had a 20-plus goal season down the middle for Manchester United, could do that again. But it's massive ifs and buts in it. The likelihood is those things don't happen. And that's why it would be surprising to me if Manchester United didn't go out and get a striker. Now, you may look at it and go, okay, you don't have to have an out-and-out striker. City last season, they had the likes of Riyad Mahrez and Raheem Sterling and Gabriel Jesus. Not out-and-out strikers, really. And United have got Antony, they've got Marcus, they've got Martial, they've got Anthony Elanga, they've got Jadon Sancho. So you've got attackers rather than out-and-out strikers who can play, up front, if you will. So it's not like it's, guaranteed that United have to get a striker. It would just be very surprising if we left ourselves short. Let us have a know what you think about that. Let us know. Do you think United do need a striker? Would Victor Osimhen be your answer? If not, who would be your answer? Nadu and Guyan says Osimhen is not that great. CC says rather have Martial in the middle than Rashford. I agree. I think Martial down the middle is better suited to it than Marcus Rashford. But we can't ignore his injuries. Even if you think he's great, and even if you're willing to ignore the fact he hasn't had a particularly productive couple of seasons, he does have injury question marks. Do you know what I mean? Wayne Fairclough says Rashford has been found out a one-trick pony. He had a very good game against Liverpool, and I was hoping he'd build on that for the Southampton game. Bit quieter, really, 1-8 against Southampton. I'm just hoping that we can start seeing more from Marcus Rashford, because I love Marcus Rashford, but last season was pretty woeful, and we do need to see more of him, especially if we are going to be sort of relying on him down the middle or even on the left-hand side. I know maybe with Antony coming in, there is going to be a bit more rotation. We'll have to wait and see. TJ Scott says that Van der Beek wedding 2 days before the transfer deadline and before the Leicester game. He's not happy about that one. He got married in Donny Van der Beek in London. I think Frankie de Jong and a few others were there as well. So he's not happy about it. Mark Edmonds says we don't have the cash for Osimhen. That's a point, right? You sort of ask yourself, how much money do Manchester United have? Because there are reports that that's it now. United aren't going to spend any more money because we've spent 200 million or whatever it is. We bought in likes of Antony and Martinez and Casemiro. I still think United, if we wanted to, could spend money. We've got money. This club has money. Don't forget how much the owners take out of this club. They bleed this club dry. They take their dividends. They make their payments for the loans that they got us, that they took out when they were buying the club and used the club as leverage. So there's always money at Manchester United. And also, when you've just finished 6th and you've lost Edinson Cavani, you've lost Jesse Lingard, you've lost Juan Mata, you've lost Paul Pogba, you've lost Nemanja Matic, you need to not only replace those players, but you need to build so you don't finish 6th again, so you can get into the Champions League spots. Also, when you look at some of our rivals, you look at what Chelsea have done in the transfer market. They've gone out and they've bought a load of players. You look at what Spurs have done. They've gone out and they've bought a load of players. Arsenal have spent money, and actually it looks like for once they've spent quite well. Then you can't just say, okay, well, if we just spend, even 100 million ain't going to cut it. You need to push the boat out. And people say you can't just spend your way out of trouble. You can. You need to buy players. How are you going to buy him? It's no good just saying, United do things differently. We can just rely on the youth. I love the youth, some of the younger players, and I think you've got potentially some great stars in the younger teams, but not just yet. And I don't think you can just start throwing in all the youngsters and they're going to get you sort of challenging at the very top. Not to mention the fact that you look at City getting Haaland, Liverpool getting Núñez. We should be challenging them too, not just Spurs and Chelsea and Arsenal. We should be fighting for titles. So, listen, spend that money. Seriously, it's there. Get it spent. So I'm not buying into the idea that we don't have enough money. I know it's unlikely. We're going to spend, and I think probably the smart money would be on us not really bringing in another big name signing. Maybe there could be some potential, for a loan deal for someone coming in or whatever. But we'll have to wait and see. Amos Amadon says Garnacho stays. I think there's a bit of a debate going on. Amos Amadon also says a top striker is the priority, even if Ronaldo stays. Yep. RC says, think we'll end up with Depay. Yeah, we've been linked, haven't we, with Memphis Depay. We were talking about this on the podcast yesterday, me, Joe and Howson. Me and Joe were talking about it on Transfers Live as well yesterday afternoon. I don't see Depay coming back to Manchester United. I don't think he's particularly shone. I think some people say, look at what he did at Lyon, look what he's done at Barcelona. He's done all right. I just don't. I think he struggled at Manchester United for a reason, and I don't know if him coming back would benefit us. I really don't. Do hit that like button as well. Over 3,000 people liking, less than 300 likes. Disgusting. Come on, hit the like button. Let's get to 500 likes. I'll get into some of the comments. Let us know what you think as well. Irwa Abadali says Gakpo going for 25 million. Southampton deal. Turned down reports, says Sky. Some debate going on about James Garner as well. Andrew says Victor is good in the air, speed in front of goal mouth. He can dribble. He has good football knowledge. He is fast. I mean, that sounds like he's got everything there. EMC says honestly wouldn't want Depay. Yeah, not for me. AB Mike says any news on Garner? Lots of people asking about James Garner. There was talk one there of him going out on I think Everton were in for him. And the sort of numbers being bandied about were around 14 million, which is not great, is it? I think it was a couple of days ago, yesterday, Romano said in the next 24 hours or 48 hours, he could end up leaving Manchester United. We've let Hannibal Mejbri go on loan to Birmingham, of course, and there was talk that James Garner going out on a permanent deal. We'll have to wait and see what happens with that one. I mean, I'd be sad to see James Garner go. I think he's a very good player, and I think he's done his time on loan and done well. Look at what he did at Nottingham Forest, both the back end of 2 seasons ago and last season, where he helped them get promoted. He probably deserves a chance in the first team for me. Didn't get a chance in pre-season properly because of an injury. Very unlucky there, because you saw the likes of Zidane Iqbal and Charlie Savage not only get a chance but shine. Then you've brought in Casemiro. That's probably someone who's, I know he's a different type of player. It's another body in his way, innit? So, I don't know. I don't see him getting much of a chance, and I think he will probably get a move. But I think United can get more than 40 million for him. I really do. I think he's a player who's had such a fantastic season at Forest and played well as well against Premier League opposition. James Wood says, I've only got one thing to say. Never mind who's coming in. Only one group of people. Who should leave? Glazers out up the paddock. Well said. I think there's another protest as well. I think there's a protest with flags and stuff. I saw something on the 1958. I think I've said, there's, bring banners and stuff. So check that out. Go and have a look at that. You see all the details online. Hugh Grant, welcome to the Academy. Abhishek Dashama, welcome to the Academy. Also, go and check out our members section. Extra content on there. We do a fantasy football update. It's got some new videos coming out on there. Extra on this channel as well. We've got more videos coming up later today. We'll be going live this afternoon with updates. We'll keep you going with these live updates. So make sure you're subscribing to the channel. I've been Jay. This has been The Paper Talk. Thanks for watching.